This episode of Budget MTG Decks is sponsored by TCG Player, the best place to buy your cards in the US. Welcome to Budget MTG Decks. All the cards you see in our videos are $1 or less, with exception of the Commander cards. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified when a new video comes out. Hi, welcome to Budget MTG Decks. I'm David, and today we're going to be looking at 5 Infinite Untap Combos you won't believe are budget. Now, usually the untap symbol is added to cards to make sure that they're not overpowered, so that we can only use an ability one time per turn, regardless of how much mana we have. Now, we don't really like that restriction over here, so we're going to be looking at 5 Infinite Untap Combos you won't believe are budget. Combo 1. Village Hussar Caretaker. For this combo, we're going to need a creature we want to untap repeatedly. Then we're going to need Village Bellringer. It's a 3 mana 1/4 with flash, and when it enters the battlefield, we're going to untap all creatures we control. We're also going to need Sky Hussar, which is a 5 mana 4/3 human knight with flying, and when it comes into play, we get to untap all creatures we control. And we're going to need Hell's Caretaker. It's a 4 mana 1/1 horror, and we can tap it and sacrifice a creature to return target creature from a graveyard back to the battlefield. However, we can only do this during our upkeep. To get started, we're going to begin with the creature we want to untap repeatedly, Sky Hussar, and the Hell's Caretaker already on the battlefield. The Village Bellringer will be in our graveyard. Now we have to wait until it's our upkeep. During our upkeep, first we're going to tap the creature we want to untap repeatedly to get its effect. Then we're going to tap our Hell's Caretaker, sacrificing our Sky Hussar and returning Village Bellringer to the battlefield. As the Bellringer enters the battlefield, it untaps all our creatures, including Hell's Caretaker, which is now ready to sacrifice the Village Bellringer and return the Sky Hussar back to the battlefield. We can repeat this process an infinite number of times, each time untapping all our creatures and trading the Scout with a Knight. Combo 2. Untap all the Mirror. For this combo, we are again going to need a creature we want to untap repeatedly, but we're also going to need a Mirror Galvanizer, which is a 3 mana 2/2 mirror, which states that for 1 mana tapping it, we get to untap each other mirror we control. We're going to need Cackling Counterpart, which is an instant that allows us to make a token of a copy target creature we control. We're also going to need Silver Mirror, which is a 2 mana 1/1 that can tap for 1 blue mana. And finally, we're going to need Ruined Stalactite, which is an artifact that makes equipped creature be every creature type. To make the combo go off, we're going to start with Mirror Galvanizer and Silver Mirror on the battlefield, and our creature that we want to untap repeatedly equipped with the Ruined Stalactite, making it a mirror among other things. Now we're going to cast Cackling Counterpart, making a token of Mirror Galvanizer. Next we have to wait, as our token has summoning sickness, so we can't use it on the turn it comes in. Now it's our turn again, and the fun can begin. We're going to tap our Silver Mirror to produce 1 blue mana. We are then going to use the blue mana to use our normal Mirror Galvanizer's ability by tapping it and untapping each other mirror. This includes the creature we want to untap repeatedly and our Silver Mirror. Now we can once again tap our Silver Mirror for mana, but this time we're going to use the token Mirror Galvanizer to tap it and untap each other mirror, which is going to be our original Mirror Galvanizer, and our Silver Mirror, and of course the creature we want to untap repeatedly. As you can see, we can repeat this process an infinite number of times, each time using the 2 Mirror Galvanizers to untap each other and any other mirror we control. Combo 3. Izzet Call to Glory. For this combo, we are going to need a creature we want to untap repeatedly. We're also going to need Silver Mirror, which we've seen before, Palladium Mirror, which is a 3 mana 2/2 that can tap for 2 colorless mana, Izzet Guildmage, which is a 2/2 for 2, which can copy target instant spell we control with converted mana cost 2 or less for 2 mana and a blue. And we're also going to need Call to Glory, which is a 2 mana instant that can untap all creatures we control. Let's start with the creature we want to untap repeatedly, Silver Mirror, Palladium Mirror, and Izzet Guildmage on the battlefield. Next we're going to cast Call to Glory, which goes on the stack. While the spell's on the stack, we're going to tap our 2 mirror to produce 3 mana, which we'll use to activate Izzet Guildmage's first ability. We're going to copy Call to Glory, putting a copy of it on the stack. Now the original Call to Glory resolves and untaps all our creatures, including the creature we want to untap repeatedly. Then before the copy of Call to Glory can resolve, we're going to tap our 2 mirror and make a copy of the copy of Call to Glory with Izzet Guildmage. At this point, the first copy resolves, and we can repeat the process as many times as we wish, leading to an infinite amount of times we can tap our creatures. Combo 4. Untap all the artifacts. For this combo, we're going to need an artifact we want to untap repeatedly. We're also going to need Echo Mage, which is a 3 mana 2/3, which when it is level 2 or 3, we can pay 2 blue mana and tap it to copy target instance or sorcery. We're also going to need Vedalken Engineer, which for 2 mana is a 1/1 Vedalken Artificer, which can tap to give us 2 mana of any one color, but we can only spend this mana to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts. We're also going to need Neurok Transmuter for 3 mana to 2/2 Human Wizard, which for 1 mana can make target creature become an artifact in addition to its other types. And finally, we're going to need Blinkmoth Infusion, which is a 14 converted mana cost instant, which allows us to untap all artifacts, but it does have affinity for artifacts, so its converted mana cost will be reduced by 1 for each artifact we control. To make the combo go off, I'm going to start with Echo Mage, Vedalken Engineer, and Neurok Transmuter on the battlefield. Echo Mage needs to be at least level 2. Now we're going to use 1 blue mana with Neurok Transmuter to turn Echo Mage into an artifact, and we're also going to use another blue mana to turn Vedalken Engineer into an artifact. We also have to make sure that we have an artifact that we wish to untap repeatedly. Then we're going to cast Inkmoth Infusion. It states that we're going to be untapping all our artifacts. Now while this is on the stack, we're going to tap Vedalken Engineer to produce 2 blue mana so that we can tap Echo Mage to copy Inkmoth Infusion. Then the first copy of Inkmoth Infusion resolves, untapping Vedalken Engineer, Echo Mage, and of course the artifact we wish to untap repeatedly. And then before the copy can resolve, we're once again going to tap Vedalken Engineer to give us 2 blue mana and tap Echo Mage to make a copy of the copy of Inkmoth Infusion, so we can repeat this process an infinite number of times. Combo 5, Liquimetal Coralhelm. For this combo, we're going to need a creature we want to untap repeatedly. We're also going to need Retreat to Coralhelm, which is a 3 mana enchantment which states that whenever land enters the battlefield under our control, we can untap target creature. We're also going to need Liquimetal Coating, which can tap to make a permanent into an artifact. We're also going to need Mizzium Transreliquat, which is a 3 mana artifact that can turn into another target artifact for 3 mana until the end of turn. We're also going to need Llanowar Scout, which can tap to put a land from our hand onto the battlefield. And finally, we're going to need Simic Growth Chamber, which is a land which enters the battlefield tapped, but when it enters the battlefield, we can return a land you control to its owner's hand. Okay, to make the combo go off, we're going to start with all but Simic Growth Chamber on the battlefield. Next, we're going to tap Liquimetal Coating to make our Retreat to Coralhelm an artifact, in addition to its being an enchantment. Next, we're going to pay 3 mana for Mizzium Transreliquat's first ability to turn it into a copy of Retreat to Coralhelm. So now we have 2 copies of Retreat to Coralhelm. Now we can start having fun by playing our first land of the turn, which is going to be Simic Growth Chamber. When it enters the battlefield, it's going to target itself and we're going to return it back to our hand. As the land enters the battlefield, our 2 Coralhelms trigger and we get to untap 2 target creatures. This is where the loop begins. As we've already played our land for the turn, we now have to tap our Llanowar Scout to play our Simic Growth Chamber a second time. Once again, we target the Simic Growth Chamber with its own ability and return it back to our hand. The 2 Coralhelms trigger, and we use one of them to untap our abilities of our Llanowar Scout, and the other to untap whichever creature we want to untap repeatedly. With the Llanowar Scout untapped, we can repeat this process again an infinite number of times for an infinite number of untap effects. Well, those are 5 Infinite Untap combos you won't believe are budget. Now remember, these combos are not very expensive. All cards used are $1 or less, but also remember that they're not a lot of fun to play against, and they're not a lot of fun to play with either. So use these combos with caution. Also join us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Budget MTG Decks if you want to see what we're doing over there and get in touch with us. If you have any comments or suggestions, put them in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. I'm David. This is Budget MTG Decks. Find all the cards discussed in this video in the description below. Also, show you're a fan of the channel by rocking this awesome Budget MTG Decks merchandise. This show was made possible by the support of our loyal patrons. Head on over to patreon.com/budgetmtgdecks and donate as little as $1 per month.